Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Femme Force podcast. My name is Rachel Paskvan, and I am your host. And I am so excited today to be joined by Morgana. So, she is a high performance business intuitive and master energy healer. And she's going to share her mission to help purpose driven business owners align with their highest potential. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about the intersection of energy alignment and business success and why intuition is a key driver for high performing leadership. So, Morgana, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to have you and have this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me on as well. Excited to dive into this.
So, can you share your journey to becoming a high performance business intuitive and master energy healer?
Yeah, I would go way back when I first started my business, which was over 14 years ago now, and I very much had no idea what I was doing. I didn't go to college to learn how to run a business, that's for sure. I went to college how to train in being a therapist. So once I finished my course, I didn't know what to do, where to go, how to set up my business. But what it did help me to do was access my intuition. And this is when I really started to tune into myself and take time to think, well, where do I want to go now? Well, what do I want to be doing? And I've always listened to my intuition and these nudges. Sometimes it's really hard to do so if we're living in a busy world, doing something all the time. We kind of can't quiet the mind. But I have moments like that, but I also have moments where that intuition came through very strongly. And they said, why don't you try this? Why don't you go and do that? Go and do this. Market here. Go and speak to this person. And it was just so clear to me to go and do these things. And that's what I call is following the energy, following your intuition, following the energy of your life. And that's how I first started really following my intuition to create my business. And when I did that, I met with the people that aligned with me. I went to the places that needed me, and I marketed to places where it most suited what I was trying to kind of express. Facebook back in the day
Yeah.
and other platforms and things. And this is where it all really began. And over the years of business, I've always functioned from this. I've always functioned from following my intuition and my energy
That's
and the energy.
amazing. And what inspired you to focus on purpose driven leaders and entrepreneurs? That's a very niche area.
It is. It's something that's very close to my heart because I believe that there are so many talented and gifted individuals out there that really can make a difference and make an impact to the world, and actually our society requires it. So for me, that just feels in alignment with my values. And I would only really want to work with people who are wanting to make a difference or offer some form of service or help people in some form, whether it's a creative business, whether you've got a coaching business, whether you're on multi-entrepreneurial. And these people have great abilities and assets and talents to unlock. So yeah.
That's amazing. And I would think that they would just be passionate about it. And you want somebody who like wants to take the advice and to help and to have that kind of passion along with everything that's going on.
Yeah, these people are literally self-driven. So they're driven, but they're just getting in their own way. So it's not like they don't lack passion or lack drive. It's just they lack belief a lot of the time. They lack being able to sort of tune into their energy or their intuition because a lot of them are so in their heads or in their mind and get caught up. And that's where I come in. But for me, that's who I was. I've come through that experience myself. I didn't know everything. I didn't know everything about business, but I learned a lot about business. I think I know a lot about business.
Just sharing your expertise, like that's a huge deal. How do you help clients identify and align with their purpose in business?
Yeah, so we really have to get to the core of who this person is, their story, their journey, what brought them to the business in the first place. A lot of people are doing business because they've come through their own challenges and difficulties and they want now want to help people, or they've got a unique talent that they really is that is natural to them. And they want to make a difference and help people with it. So for me, it's about really understanding that person holistically in mind, body, and soul. and really understanding, well, what is this person trying to achieve and what actually makes them happy? Because it's not even about the money, it's actually what about makes you happy, what is actually fulfilling for you. What could you do with your eyes closed? What can you be doing every day that is joy? What's fun? Like, aren't we here to have fun and joy? And it's not always like that. It's not always easier.
Yeah.
Certainly, business is not always like that. But yeah, that's what I do.
I mean, they say that you spend what, 80% of your life at work, like out of
Absolutely.
total or something like that. And like it, it has to suck to not have a job where you're like, oh, I like doing this and like I love
Yeah.
what I'm doing, or I like the company or the culture or the people.
Yes. Yes. I have come from jobs. I actually have had jobs in the past, but for me, it never suited. And I was always in misalignment. And that's when I got really unwell. And it took me to a point of, okay, well, what am I really here for?
Yeah.
That's why I did train. And there's so many people out there that are looking for that purpose and looking for who they are and what they're here for.
Well, I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes I'm just like, I just like, there's no drive. And I'm like, I just need a job. Like, I'm like, where did my drive go? Where did the passion go from? Like, I just need a job. And like, that's just so sad.
Yeah, we can have those days, we can have those months, we can have those times when we just think like, I'm bored now. For me, my ADHD, I do get bored with things very quickly. I put all this energy into things, and then I get bored and I get demotivated, and then I have to take a break and have a reset, and then not judge myself in the process, and still sometimes how somehow function and work with my business. So I do come from a place of let's stop judging ourselves, let's start loving ourselves more, because self-love is a foundation that you need in order for your business to actually be a success. It's not always about doing, and it's certainly not always about statistics and strategy either. The foundations are important. And that's what I would say, when you have those days, come back to yourself. Maybe your body needs a rest, maybe your body needs something different, a different energy, to have fun,
Yeah.
laugh, listen to some music, watch Netflix, like unapologetically.
I mean, I love all those things. So it works out.
Absolutely.
How do you help clients identify and align with their purpose in business? Like, what does the process go for doing that? Or I'm
Yes.
sorry, we answered that question. Um, can you explain the connection between energy alignment and high performers?
Yes. So energy alignment, what is that? Well, everything is energy, and we function from energy every day. If we're not in alignment with our beliefs and our energy is like drained, or we're feeling fatigued, or actually our energetic belief system, if we don't believe, or we have doubt, or some form of criticism or judgment, or fear, it is a low energy that kind of pulls us down and stops us from achieving our goals. So we have to work on our beliefs and our energy in order to raise our frequency, raise our consciousness, and actually be able to take action from a place of alignment, not from a place of force, or having to strive for it. Because when you come from a need or force energy, you actually reject what's meant for you. And I've fallen into this trap so many times, and it's a very masculine way of doing business, like just force it, just do all the things, be consistent, do this and this, and it's just very do, and there's nothing wrong with that. You have to have balance, but energy balance between your masculine and your feminine energy is what's going to enable your business to continue to grow and exponentialize and expand in the ways that you want it to. And it doesn't require just masculine energy or just feminine energy. It's something that you need to be aware of. Like, where am I forcing too much? Where am I trying too hard? Or where am I really just sitting back and hoping it comes to me and not taking any action?
And this has to like leak into your personal life, I assume.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It absolutely leaks into our personal life. What is going on in our personal life will really affect how we show up in our businesses. And you can try and try and try to not have it affect you, but it does. Like this time last year, I really struggled in my business. It was very difficult for me. And I realized I needed to take a break and stop and just take a pause and do some healing, work on myself. And I did have other things I could be doing to bring money in. But I had to take that step and just say, no, I need to prioritize me because at the moment my business is almost like shrinking because
Yeah.
my energy was going into the wrong people, wrong places and spaces. And my energy was depleted. I was depleted and drained.
So if people wanted to take a break, but they are worried, like if you're the sole provider or, supporting a family, etc., what would be the steps that they should take, before being like, I'm going to take a break to realign? Just because I feel
Yeah,
like the stress would be so much.
yeah, I would say, okay, go and get support if you can. If there's any form of sort of financial support out there that you can go and get, don't be afraid to ask for help because this is something that I did. I went out there and asked for help. I also did ask for some financial support, and I got that. So there are avenues and pockets of financial support, but also emotional support. And once I was able to have that without judging myself, it enabled me to be able to sort of take a reset and take time out and then recalibrate. And that's when I was able to start again. So I
Yeah,
would look
important.
for those.
I mean, it's a blessing to just be able to take the break and like
Yeah.
kind of figure out, do you feel like people just kind of clog along in their day-to-day lives instead of really being like, what do I want to do? Like, do you feel, I mean, I don't really feel like a lot of people, at least in the States, it's like, well, I have to have a job and like it has to be high paying and it has to be all of these things. And it's kind of like a lifestyle that we've kind of been forced upon or a cultural norm to us. And it's hard to break away from that. Like I only meet so many people, like very few people that are like, oh no, I love what I do, or no, I left my corporate job to do this. And I'm like, and I've met so many women through the podcast that have done these things, and that's amazing. But like just, close personal friends. I don't know if it's like our generation or what we, just grind, millennial girls grind.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, we have it too here in the UK. It's like if you're not seen to be doing any work, like you're lazy and you should be doing something all the time and beyond 9 to 5. So it is kind it's how in our conditioning and in our belief system that we function from this autopilot. And we really have to be willing to look at that, take a present moment and just stop and go, actually, what's my truth? Like how do I want to function? Like how do I want to create my life and business? And it's only when you give yourself that time, or sometimes the universe will, and give it to you in the
Yeah.
harshest way possible. And that's when you really have to stop. So you don't want to get to that point. Yeah, and that's when you are able to go, okay, well, how do I want to live my life? How do I want to create my business? What do I want to do? But often we are actually pushed to these states. I have been previously as well. My partner has been recently as well. And yeah, yeah,
It's so much our job is almost like it's really part of our identity. Like it's how we introduce ourselves. Like, hi, I'm Rachel. I work at the so and so place. And like,
yeah,
this is what I do. Oh, what do you do for work? Like, it's the question that we meet when we talk to
yeah.
people, when we first meet them at, I mean, not just networking events, but social aspects. And it's so tied into the core of who we are.
It really is. We become so emotionally attached to what we do for business, what we do for life, and people. But like, it's like, who are you beyond that? I actually had this insight just now about like you should be doing the anti-networking,
Yeah,
like talk
would love
about
that.
anything other than your business. Like, what who are you? Like, I want to know who you are, Rachel. Like, who are you? Tell
What's
me
your
more. Like,
hobbies?
tell me some random thing that I don't know about you. That is like really getting to the core of someone. And that's when you start to unlock someone's like creativity and insights, and you get energy moving that way.
1000%. Also, it's just kinder. It's a good conversation
Yeah.
topic. Not like, oh, how do you like your job? What about the company? Like, I'm like, it's interviewing is just dating and it's not fun.
No,
No.
no, definitely not fun.
What are some simple practices that leaders can use to tap into their intuition?
Yes, so I would say get out in nature, because nature is one of the fundamental things that will instantly get you connected to your intuition. Without you having to do anything, but go out in nature, go for a walk, reconnect, ground yourself, out in the trees, in nature, because this instantly is a way of you just getting back in touch with yourself, and you will get so many ideas, so much more energized because nature will energize you. And yeah, you'll just feel so much better from taking that reset as well. I do this every day. If I don't do this, my day will go not so well, and yeah, I'll start to get stressed and anxious, and it's
Well,
not.
the grounding thing has been a big trend, right? Where you go on to the grass in your bare, I mean, it's freezing here in Ohio. Like Lake Erie is
Imagine.
frozen over. So I will
Oh,
not be going outside barefoot and putting
yeah.
my feet in anything. But I do grass in summer. It sounds lovely. You go out and you stick your feet in the grass and you just like take a few moments, and that has to help you just like center yourself.
It really does. It really does. I mean, it's freezing here as well. And I've been really reluctant to sort of go out. I'm like, oh, but if I'm stuck indoors all day, my energy is low. I can't create. Nothing moves. So I'm just wrapping up like multiple layers as much
Yeah.
as I can.
No, I can 1,000% understand that. Even if I'm doing all the things inside and like just calls or what podcasts, whatever I'm doing, I still by the end of the day, I'm like, I didn't leave this house. I'm so lazy. I should have done something else today. Like it's totally a
Mhm.
feeling of going out is helping with productivity. Thousand.
Yeah, it does. It's actually, more productive to do that than do kind of work all day. Yeah,
So
yeah.
when people have these kind of like roadblocks or they're not able to go outside or whatever the case may be, how do you guide clients to recognize and release, those blocks that limit their potential?
Yeah, I actually do have a tool called Theta Healing, which I use, and it's a guided practice which gets you into your theta brainwave. And how we do that is I guide the client into like a meditative state. This is when we're able to access your theta brainwave, your theta mind state, and that's when we can access your intuition, your creativity, any insights, and it actually just takes you straight into the present moment,
Yeah.
and it helps you to expand beyond your kind of concluded thinking, as they say. Is like it gets you to think outside the box. And that's when I get the client to start writing down ideas or just like free writing whatever's coming through. And that's really, really, really powerful practice. That can be for goal setting, it can be for goal achieving what you want to achieve. It can also be the things that you need to let go of as well. We can identify limiting beliefs in that state as well. And that's when we can start to actually work on clearing them. And there's tools in theta healing that actually enable you to clear those beliefs very quickly and reframe them. So
I
yeah.
mean, that's so impressive. And when you're thinking about like mindfulness or visualization play in your coaching process, like what role does mindfulness and visualization, I can say that word,
Yeah.
um, play in the coaching process?
Yes, I do use a lot of mindfulness. I also use a lot of energy expansion practices. So it's more about getting in touch with the energy of what something feels like. And we do this in theta as well. Like, in order for things to shift and for your energy to shift, you've got to be able to understand what it feels like to have that. So some people can't visualize at all. They really struggle with that. Sometimes we have to work on them being able to visualize, and that's okay, and it works. If it doesn't, we get in touch with the energy. For example, if you get in touch with the energy of what Porsche, the brand Porsche, feels like, you will instantly get a feeling of what it feels like. And being in that state and that energy space is completely different. It will change your state instantly and raises your consciousness straight away. But you've got to get yourself in that state as much as you can on a regular basis, and then your life around you will actually start shifting, because we attract what we are and what we think and what we feel.
I mean, I feel like it's just the changing of the mindset. Like when I'm trying to be positive and thinking well, if I get, I'm like, no, not if, when you get, when I
Yes.
get, when that happens,
Yeah, when.
all these things happen and like go from there. And I mean, it helps like with the positivity aspect. It's, the decisions are always rough, but like it definitely helps with that. And I think the visualization and the manifesting and like these are huge things that I feel like we've definitely got more in tune with as a society
Yeah, we
the
have.
last couple of years and like having our manifestation cards. I got those set up like, daily mantras or whatever what might be, but like these are like clutch things that I'm like, okay, like this is something I have to incorporate. And we weren't taught that as kids. It was like, well, that might not happen. Move on.
Yep. Yeah, we didn't have anything like that, did we? And I was thinking, how do we actually function? But yeah, we have, even if it's one little thing you can do every day to just shift your mindset. But sometimes I would say, we can do a lot of masking as well in terms of being toxic positive. So you have to sometimes think about maybe your body just needs to process some form of emotion on that day, and that's okay too. Like I have those days where I get super frustrated, there's energy is heavy, and I'm like, what is this? And it's something that needs to come up. So we also have to acknowledge that as well, and then we can sort of shift into the positive energy. Otherwise, it's kind of like hitting a brick wall as well. You have those days.
Oh, 1,000%. And we all, I mean, everybody has days and everybody has months or years or quarter, like they're, you're just like, this was not my year. This was not. And I think this could really like help a lot of people. And so do
Yeah.
you have any like an actual tip or a practice that people can implement like immediately to enhance their alignment?
Yeah, I would say be in the question of life. So instead of jumping to conclusions of like, oh, it's never going to happen, or this is too difficult to do, like ask a question like, what would it take to create that? What would it take to make that happen with ease? Or what would it take? You know, where do I go? Who do I speak to? Be willing to ask a question. Because when you ask a question and you just don't ask the question once, ask it multiple times, you actually start to unlock your subconscious mind to kind of work for you. And then you'll be guided to this thing, to do that thing, and then to do that thing. And that's how you kind of creatively create your business or anything you want to achieve, really. So be in the
It's like a
question.
chain effect.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I just feel
So
like this
simple.
is the time. The world's scary right now. So like it's a lot
Yes.
going on out there. Like there are a
Yeah.
lot of layoffs and, wars and just struggles out there that I feel like people are going through and like anything that can help just a little bit or make like a little bit of positivity or sunshine in their day has to go so far when you're being affected by these kind of things.
Yeah, I there's a tool that I learned called like what else is possible. And even on the days when you just think like literally nothing what it couldn't get any worse.
It can.
You can, but it also can get better. So how does it get any better than this or what else is possible is amazing. And actually you shift that energy and what happens is the kind of universe wants to show you, well, this is how it can get better. And it could be something like someone pays you a compliment, or you might get like a refund, or some little thing that happens, and you're like, "Wow, I'm glad I asked that question now."
I mean, I love that. Yes, and I mean, it's a good question to ask yourself, and we probably should be doing that daily when I think about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a routine. It's something that we can like implement every day, just like brushing our teeth. We can try.
Right? Well, or habit stacking it with that. I feel like habit stacking is such a big thing right now. So,
Yeah,
like when I brush my teeth in the morning and do like my get ready portion of the day and everything, like I listen to a mindful podcast, like nothing on finance, nothing on world news, none of the scary mean stuff, but just like something on mindfulness and like getting me through. And I've been trying really hard to do meditation, I'm using air quotes because I don't do well at that. I end up making lists in my head. So
oh
I've been
yeah,
trying really, really hard to be like, no, you just have to be still. You have to be like in this moment and just enjoy. And it is so hard when you're
yeah,
like an A-type like person and your brain is going all over the place and you have all this stuff going on. But I feel
yeah.
like that would be really helpful. So we're trying it. We're not getting successful at it yet, but we're trying.
Right. Yeah, you just try it. You do what you can do, isn't it? And that might not work, and you might go, okay, well, what else? What do I need to do instead? Or yeah, I really struggle to be honest to sit down and be present and just be. This is why I go to walks or go to the gym or do something that's bringing presence into what I'm doing because I can't sit and meditate for like just some work.
I literally always think of that movie Eat, Pray, Love when she's like sitting there in the meditation room in India. And she's like, I must have been here for an hour. And she looks up and the clock and literally 1 minute. And she's like, this is, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel that. Like I do. I'm like,
Yeah,
I must have been sitting here for like 20 minutes, like doing
yeah,
this. And I'm like, no, it's been two. You have
yeah.
literally been sitting here in silence for 2 minutes, already thinking you're done. Like you've done it all. You've meditated. You're at peace. No.
No,
No, none of those things. And I just think that's like that movie really touched on a lot of things like earlier in life.
yeah.
So thinking about like the habit stacking and like that kind of stuff, how how do you, besides like the gym or other things like that, how do you integrate intuition into your daily practices to try to make it as simple and easy as possible to really keep that in your life?
Yeah, I will connect to my higher self, or connect to the divine creator. We kind of call divine creator a lot in theta healing. So I always use the tools like daily. For me, it's just the way that I'm living to choose to, because even if it's a quick connect up and just kind of scan my body, scan my energy, and just do that. It just take two minutes. Sometimes I do that if I'm going shopping or driving. I'll just quickly connect or something. It doesn't have to be you're sitting there. You can do it anytime. And that helps me to just be connected, stay connected from to the higher levels of consciousness, but also be grounded on earth and be here, be present, be now, be human. And yeah, it's about the two worlds and the kind of the bridge in between. So that's what I do every day. I would say I also listen to like lots of like sound frequency music
I love
and
those sound
vibrational
baths.
music. Love it.
Here for a
Oh,
sound bath all the time. I literally sleep to sound baths. Like
oh,
relaxing.
amazing. Yeah, music, anything to sound frequencies is just incredible. Yeah.
And you can feel the difference. You really can. Like whenever
Ooh,
I've done a sound bath and they hit whatever they're hitting, the crystal bowls or whatever they're doing, and there's a certain sound, and I'm like, okay, that just shifted. Like you can
yeah.
feel the shift in your body. So
Yeah, you can. You can. It's like instant. And just doing like little bits of that every day, you will soon build up a very, very strong intuitive space for yourself. And it's just that commitment to yourself. You've got to be willing to commit to yourself. And it doesn't have to take all day. You could just take 5, 10 minutes out of your day. Yeah.
that's amazing. I mean, and it's just everything that you're doing to like help people do this, also like reach people to be like, this is something that you should be practicing in your daily life, or this is something that could really help you, especially, I feel like we also don't give ourselves a chance to be like, I think something's wrong. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think I feel good, or I don't think like I'm just so exhausted. Well, you're supposed to be exhausted. You're doing all these things, and we also give a kind of a badge of honor to those who are super busy. Like, it's like, I'm just
Oh
so,
my God.
so
Yeah.
busy. And it's taken a long, long time for me to learn that like that's not a badge of honor. I mean, I do it to myself. I go to enough therapy to know these things, but like I do it to myself, but I'm also like I enjoy being busy. Like it gives me drive and purpose, but like the burnout it's real. When it hits, it's like
Yeah.
it's days of like not like, oh, she just needs an hour to rot, and you're like, no, I need days of silence alone with my
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah.
It's my biggest relationship during that weekend. Me and
Yes.
Netflix. And like
Yes.
in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you have. I think the thing a lot of people struggle with is how to prevent that burnout. I've burnt out multiple times. I haven't recently over the last few years, but before that, it was just I actually didn't know where my stop point was. I
Right?
didn't know when my stop point was. I didn't have a stop point actually. Um, and then if I get to the point and my head's buzzing and I'm starting to feel sensitive, now I know that I need to take a break. Even though I love what I don't want to take a break. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. But yeah, we have to be super kind of kind to ourselves and our bodies.
1,000%. And just really stay in tune. Like we only have that one life, even if it's 80% work, like it's still, we only have one life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just to have the enjoyment and like not all be having like high blood pressure by the time we're like 35 would be, I think, such a joy.
Yes.
And just
Yes.
learn. And I feel like the younger generations are doing that. Like we look at Gen Z who's like boundaries. No, I'm not doing that. Like I'm here for the
Yeah.
culture, the company, all of these things. And I'm like, where did you get this kind of were you born with boundary? How did that happen?
Yeah. Well, how did you learn that? What?
And yeah,
Just
how did you you're 23 and you're like, and I'm like, I want to, I'm 38. I want to do that. Me, how do you do that? So you just said no? You just said no. And then you didn't do it. Wow, like a hero. What a superpower.
Yeah. There's a lot to learn from our teens and our younger generation these days. They are super conscious, definitely here to teach us for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot to learn from them.
props to them. So,
Yeah.
as we wrap up, I like to ask one final question to all my guests. So, if you could give one piece of advice to your 16-year-old self, what would that be?
Oh my God, be kinder, be kinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so harsh to myself.
Yeah.
I was constantly bullying myself, criticizing myself, judging myself. I wish I just said, you know what, you're enough and be kind. And then the trajectory of my life probably would have been a lot different. And yeah, she deserves that self-appreciation and kindness and love. I actually feel like a lot of myself, my teen comes out now when I do my coaching or my healing work. Like it's like my inner teen speaking through
Yeah.
me. Yeah, it's beautiful.
No, but I love that because I mean it still resonates with today. Like we have to be like I have a post-it reminder on my computer. I'm like, you need to be kind to yourself. Be nice to
Yeah,
yourself. You're
yeah,
doing it's good. You're doing the best you can. Like be kind to yourself.
yeah,
Like it's gonna work out. Just to be nice to yourself.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it goes far to be like, okay, you gotta stop thinking negatively and like just you did really good today with this, this, and this. And like
yeah.
from there.
Yeah, exactly. And we're actually going, look what you've achieved. It's too easy to go into like judgment and what you haven't achieved and what you haven't done. And that creates nothing greater apart from just the same. And I think it's remembering to go, actually, wow, like I have achieved this, this, and this. And it's to being mindful of what other people project of you of what success is. Like what's your
Yeah.
version of success? What success to you is different to what someone else's version of success is.
No,
Yeah.
1,000%. And it's true on every level. So I love that piece of advice.
Yes.
So tell the audience like where they can find you, where like pimp yourself out.
Love it. So I'm on Facebook and YouTube and also Instagram. So you can find me there, Morgana Marie. Yeah, and connect.
Awesome. Everybody should go and connect. Like think about these things. I've watched some of the YouTubes and they're super helpful. And I just think this is gonna, especially right now in today's world, this is gonna be really helpful for a lot of listeners. It was definitely helpful for me.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's so good to take that time just to kind of learn from each other, isn't it, as well?
Yeah,
Yeah,
1,000%. Thank you so much for coming on, and
you're
we will
welcome.
talk soon. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye.